Hello and welcome everyone to today's News Tonight, the weeknight news show where we're joined by special guests and our lovely patrons to discuss the day's gaming news. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined as always by my good friends and GVG co-founders, Steve Bowling and Ash Paulson, along with our very special guest, the Great Clement, the Steam Boy himself.
Hello.
It's good to be here.
Welcome back, good sir.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, you
happy
said
to have
that
you
you
back,
did
man.
not want to come back until your computer was all set up and you're back in the 21st century. We got you in the 21st century, so it's like, all right, we got to have the man here now.
I have finally met the internet standards. I finally have a microphone that sounds presentable. I'm finally with you. I'm one of you now.
I love it.
Time
Indeed.
for everything to jump forward again. Like, crap, I'm outdated already.
I mean, to be fair,
When everyone starts uploading videos in 4K, I'm screwed.
I mean, my system's dated by this point too. So, at one point, when all the PC parts are no longer extremely rare, I'm going to have to talk to Steven, like, help me.
yeah.
What do I need?
We are definitely going to have to get Ash and Derek on some modern standard streaming equipment, especially Ash. I feel like Derek's a little bit better off, but Ash is like in the 19th century with his.
You know what's weird is that it actually what used to be a little better, and Elgato has somehow made it even worse since then. Like, you guys remember, I was able to stream Chrono Trigger and like a bunch of Mega Man games back in the GX days. I can't even stream Mega Man games at above like 720p 15 now. Elgato has somehow made it worse.
I'm impressed.
I
almost.
don't understand. It's so annoying. But
I remember when I
want to join the streaming. I want to be one of everyone. I want to stream like everybody else.
Yeah, it's weird because I remember when I was getting my new computer set up, I bought a new Elgato to like keep up with the technology and stuff. I had a regular HD one and I got like an HD Pro or an HD 60, something like that. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, the newer one was not recording everything at 60 frames. It kept dropping frames and things keep screwing up. And I go back to my older one, which records in 1080p 60 as well. And it works perfectly fine. It hasn't failed me yet.
The HD 60S Plus works worse on my Mac than the HD 60 does, or the original HD 60S. It's ridiculous.
I use the HD 60S personally.
Yeah, real quick, I want to just point out something because I feel really bad for our mods on the YouTube side of chat. If you are here to talk shit about LGBTQIA plus people or anything like that, nope the fuck out of this show right now. We don't want you here. We don't need you here. You can fuck off to hell. If you're, I don't get it. But don't make it harder for our mods than you need to. Like, they're already working hard.
It, go.
Yeah, and the thing is, nobody gives a fuck anyway. If you're a bigot, we don't care. Nobody cares. Bye. We don't want you here, like Steve said. So,
we'll mod your messages to oblivion. And we'll go on with the rest of the show. I just wanted to get it out there for 5 seconds real quick. And
nice.
Let's enjoy the rest of the show.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. And actually, just to, return us to good vibes, people you should definitely enjoy checking out, and you should check out, is, of course, our sponsor for today, The Game Orb. And this episode is brought to you by them. They are a fledgling channel that is focused mostly on Nintendo content until recently. And while they're still running Let's Plays of Nintendo games like Splatoon 2 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, going forward, they're also covering games on the Xbox Series X like Portal Still Alive as part of a fresh daily upload schedule. They also have games in their backlog, including SpongeBob, so you can check all that out. And of course, be sure to subscribe to the Game Orb at the link in the description. And we're still working on their way to get them up to 350 subscribers. We're doing very well with that. We'll just keep pushing them higher and higher and show them the GV Gang's support. But as always, they also want to support their good friend Galactic Reaper and their YouTube channel, and you can find links again to both of them in our description.
I just posted in the chat as well.
In the chat.
And I'm pinning that now for everyone, so please show the Game Orb the power of the GV Gang, everybody. Go subscribe.
I also want to give another shout out to one of our mods and just good friend of the channel, Brandon Bovia, who many of you might know, that works at Shonen Jump and does some translation work with Dragon Ball Super and a bunch of other series. He was actually recently interviewed by Masako X today. and
Wow.
you might know them as the voice of Team 4 Star's Goku. And he does a lot of Dragon Ball coverage. So definitely check out that interview over at Masako's channel. Check out Brandon themselves, see what they have to say about their work. We talk about him a lot, but we don't actually, hear from their own words, see what they've done, and check all of that out. So
we need to have Brandon on at some point, but we need like a good just hour to talk about anime. That's
right.
We could manage that.
If that big anime fighting game in the works that we reported on Friday comes out, is announced soon, that would be the episode to have Brandon on, especially if it's Dragon Ball FighterZ 2. That would be a good episode to have him on.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed.
Yeah. And just to plug something else that I was on before we get into the main meat of the episode, I just went up today, but I was invited to be on the Arlo cast along with my apparently eternal rival, Alex Oni over at Nintendo Life. And it was a lot of fun. It was a good time. And definitely check that out. We'll eventually get Arlo on here, but at least I got to be on there. So we'll figure it out.
I'm gonna go watch that with the hopes that Arlo just picks up on the fact that we're watching him and he comes back over here.
Yeah, there you go. We'll get that all taken care of. But
what makes Alex your eternal rival?
I'm curious about that too.
I don't know. That was sort of the thing. Is like apparently GVG is rivals with Nintendo Life.
Hey, not at all.
We are? No, we're not at all. No way. We're friends.
I mean, to be fair, if we went to war with them, they'd win. I'm just pointing that out.
That's also true. Yeah.
Thanks for nodding in agreement.
We're all friends.
You couldn't have gone just no. You guys can take them.
you guys keep it real, and I appreciate that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. Oh, good.
I was going to say, I know my limits. I know what battles not to pick.
But I do think a friendly Smash showdown between GVG and Nintendo Life could be a lot of fun.
Now that we have a chance.
Need to carry us. You would have to carry us, Ash.
Maybe, yeah.
It
might come down to me and John.
If I'm going to face down my former colleagues at Nintendo Life, I will train. I will go into the lab, and I will make sure I do not lose in the first round.
Time to learn how to do Kazuya, to handle Kazuya.
That's right. Mm-hmm. I'll take one of them with me.
There you go. Perfect.
Hell yeah.
So, right, and before we actually get into the news topics, we got a few super chats in here. And first up is Luis Benitez with a $5 donation. Doesn't have any comments there, but still appreciated all the same.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And then there's Nathan, the future voice actor, with a $6.06 donation saying, "Hi GVG and hello Clement. Loved your playthroughs and videos on Mega Man X6 and Sonic 06. P.S. I hate this game."
Those are so old, though. They're so old. But thank you. I appreciate it.
Both such bad games. Such bad games.
Mm-hmm. Something about the number 6, I swear.
Yeah.
Get that 6th entry, and a lot of times it just does not go well. Thank you so much. And then Black Ninja with a $2 donation saying, "Yo, GVG gang, with y'all in the morning and night." Yes, we were there for Kazuya, which we'll be talking a little bit about later on, as you can see from the title. But let's go over and start with something objectively silly with our first little topic.
Let's go ahead and get that on screen right now.
All right. So... you might have seen this over the weekend. You might not have. But turns out there's a new game coming out called The Walking Dead Survivors. However, you might notice the background, and it's exactly the same as Resident Evil 2 Remake. Even better fact is if you look at the hand of our little blonde girl here, you can see a second gun coming out of the first gun. They did not even fully get rid of Claire from the thing.
This is so good. You can't make this shit up. This is incredible. And also, why does the girl look vaguely like Mina Suvari? Does anybody else get that impression?
A little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, why not, I guess. But this whole thing is so
She
blatant.
looks like she needs sleep. She has massive bags under her eyes and very pouty.
Yeah, and why is she looking at the viewer, whereas the guy is, clearly focused on the zombie he's training his gun on? Like, shouldn't she be focused on the zombies as well?
Well, she has an extra gun. She has nothing to worry about.
Oh, that's true. Good point. Yeah.
If you're gonna steal art, why would you steal art from one of the most critically celebrated games of 2019 when everyone on the internet knows what that image is?
Yeah. That is
Halsey?
I'm gonna admit it though. I love it.
I think it's hilarious.
amazing.
It's such a great Monday story. Like
it really
makes
is.
The fact that this is a Monday sting that much less because it's pretty damn funny.
Yeah, I love the fact that, you know, not only is it, like, even without the gun, it would be a blatant ripoff, but they couldn't even be bothered to fully Photoshop the characters out. They're just like, good enough. Like, that just reeks of a intern being like, how many people are going to download this game anyway?
Art design is my passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of responses to that sort of thing because it just became, it blew up as just sort of this funny thing. Everybody's talking about, which I think this is like the most advertisement this game has got, because I was like, what is the Walking Dead Survivors? Apparently it's a mobile game. Okay, sure.
It's surprising with The Walking Dead because, like, that's a pretty big property. You know, they got a TV show. It was Telltale's Walking Dead was another critically acclaimed video game that existed, and it's like, you know, it's a huge brand. It's a huge property. You'd think there would be a little bit more quality control, a little more, you know, people paying attention and being like, wait a minute, that's Resident Evil. What are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, this has to have been blatantly, you know, on purpose. There's no way this was just like, you know, obviously it has to be. There's
definitely on purpose. But I wonder, part of me wants to believe that someone in the marketing department for this game is playing 4D chess with all of us, and they're like, yeah, we'll do it on purpose, and then we'll just come out and apologize. But so many people will find out about our game.
Yeah.
It
can't be.
No.
But,
no.
Right.
You don't want this kind of publicity usually. Like they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. This seems to put a bet like, well, that the game comes across as really cheap.
Yeah. For a minute there, just with the way Derek was talking and the way he was holding his drink, I'm like, bro, it's Monday. You drink it on stream?
No, they made detox water for us. So I got some cucumber in there, some lime, some strawberries. I'm going tropical for the
See,
Monday.
I drink just straight toxic water. I call it beer.
I'm just drinking coffee, so I don't know where I fall on the spectrum, but I got my usual coffee. So the thing is, like, I don't know how this
pure water.
I can't imagine that this resulted in anything positive for the game. I'm not really.
I disagree with that. Yeah. I think it will lead to.
So?
I think it'll lead to a positive in a sense, because I know that looking at that, I want to see the game now. Like, I actually want to see the game that begot this terrible art. Like, it's like a so bad it might be good kind of thing. Like, I might get humor out of just seeing if you were this lazy with the box art, how lazy were you with the rest of it? And I kind of want to know that now.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious. That's fair. I'm curious.
Take you all
to
5 minutes to figure that out.
Like, I don't know if I want to play it, but I'll at least look it up on YouTube.
But the thing is, now that this has happened, there are some people who will totally ironically buy this game.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Just
like, well, I got to jump on this train. It's like the game that had the Resident Evil 2 box art. Let's see how it actually plays.
Yep. I guarantee you some streamers tonight are going to be playing that game.
Not that this is Capcom's fault, but what's funnier, this or the whole Resident Evil Revelations thing from several years back?
I would say
I'd say this.
Yeah,
this is funny.
I think Revelations would win if it wasn't for the second hand.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. If it was at least mildly more sly of a copy than it is, then I would give it to the blatant misspelling. But yeah, just having the character, like, you didn't notice that she had an entire second hand with a gun in it. How do you miss that? It's not even a small icon. It's huge.
Right.
And good friend.
One, two. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, our good friend Evernight saying that is such a quick clone stamp removal too. Like, it's apparently really easy.
Yeah.
I will admit, I feel like this person had to have my level of Photoshop skill or worse, because earlier this morning, if you didn't see it, I tweeted out, like, as soon as the Kazuya reveal or the Kazuya trailer was over, I slapped the Dante from Devil May Cry thing right over Mario's face in Photoshop and like tossed it on Twitter. And I was like, man, I really should have like clone stamped out all the words just so it said featuring Dante from Dante. And everyone said that in my replies, but I was like, yeah, I couldn't make it look. It would have looked terrible if I did it. So I imagine this intern probably thought the same thing. Like, oh man, there's going to be a. I mean, I probably would have chosen the blurry, ugly mess that I would have created over just 3 hands and 2 guns, but
right,
to each their own. Had to make a judgment call, made the objectively right one.
Yeah. 112 in our Patreon exclusive live audience chat mentioned, and totally forgot about this, says, Ash, how could you forget Okami's IGN watermark? That might still be the top.
Oh, that's really good.
Capcom-related game box mistake. Yeah, that one was hilarious. And I still have that. I still have my copy of Okami for the Wii with the watermark.
Nice.
I think I got Okami. I think I still only have Okami. I have HD Okami on PS3 or 4. I forget which one. And the original PS2 version.
Nice.
So, yep. All right. Before we move on to our next story, we got some more donations. First up from Waffle King with a $4.99 donation saying, I'm finally going back to work tonight. I'm free from COVID. That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
They got COVID. They are
nice.
COVID free. Going back to work. That is awesome. Glad to hear from you.
Congratulations. We're super happy to hear that.
Glad to hear you've recovered. Sorry to hear you have to go back to work tonight.
Right?
I mean,
yeah.
A little both. Unless you really love your job, in which case, more power to you. Have fun. Yeah. But I would, if it were me, I'd prefer to, not have COVID and not go to work. I mean,
right. Exactly. That's the idea. That's the ideal.
I'm still sick. Can I get paid?
Yeah. It's the COVID. Also, can someone bring me French toast?
Grantles with a $2 donation, just saying The Walking of Residence 2, The Evil.
I love it.
Very nice.
I imagine just like a bunch of people in pajamas walking around. I don't know. It doesn't conjure the same image.
Old folks home, something like that.
Yeah.
Light Up Bob with a $4.99 donation, just saying love you guys with a bit of coffee. So there you go, Ash.
Thank you. I love the coffee shout out. Thank you so much for that, Light Up Bob, and thank you for the donation.
Absolutely. Then we got Wape Mulenga with a $5 donation saying good vibes gaming featuring Clement from the C Squared podcast. Yes, I enjoyed that podcast. Trust me, when you gotta sometimes have your son fall asleep at night, you kind of need some content to listen to while you're driving him around and waiting for him to fall asleep. And C Squared Clement's podcast is quite good for that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's like sometimes people aren't watching my video game footage when I'm doing a Let's Play, so why not just talk about daily life and do that for an hour?
Nice.
It's surprisingly easy to do. All right, and then we got Ryan Bourne here with a £4.99 donation saying, "There's another character in the game behind the girl. Don't worry, maybe not." Wait, what? Did we miss? There's another character from the game behind her. Let's double check this. Just to be sure. I don't think so.
Some guy named Lowen.
Yeah, I don't think I know anything, but oh well. Either way, thank you very much for the donation. Very much appreciated. I double checked, but I didn't see another character behind the girl. So
I didn't. Yeah, I don't either.
Either way, all right. Let's go ahead and move on to story number 2. The story everybody's here for. All right. Utada Hikaru has come out over the weekend as non-binary, which is a big deal in some ways, not a big deal in others. It's kind of a slow week, but it is something to be celebrated, I think, and especially because you don't hear too much about LGBTQ plus in Japan, and she is a major figure in Japan. As a reminder, she has done, I think, at least 2 theme songs for the
Sorry,
new
Derek, you might want to say they, only because we are reporting on Utada coming out as non-binary.
I am sorry. I am still learning this myself and trying to get
mistake to me.
You get used to it for years, and then you got to go to readjust. Yeah. So I do apologize. They have done several. Thank you for that, Ash. They have done multiple songs for the Evangelion movies, which do very well. They are. Just a sensation. They are huge. So the fact that they came out like this is a big deal for everyone. And I first learned of them through Kingdom Hearts.
Same.
Simple and Clean is kind of just ingrained in my head at this point.
It's a banger.
So
every Kingdom Hearts vocal theme's a banger. And
absolutely.
That is just as true now as it was before they came out. And I'm just, I'm so happy for them that they felt that they could do this now and, embrace their identity, embrace who they are. And I'm just, I'm just always happy for anybody, celebrity or not. It's not the fact that they're a celebrity. It's anybody who gets to the point where they can come out and feel comfortable doing so and embrace who they are. That's always a good thing. And that's what we're all about here at GVG. So, congrats to Utada for this, and just very happy for them.
Yeah. Utada, I'm with Derek. I found out about them through their work on Kingdom Hearts. Although I did want to note that they were a one-time spokesperson for the Nintendo DS in Japan. They did.
Oh, I kind of remember that.
They did a bunch of DS ads, and Nintendo used one of their songs, "Easy Breezy," for. It's a fucking earworm, man. When the DS Lite was coming out, they had her do the commercials for it.
So I'm so sorry. Was that their attempt at breaking into the US pop charts? Easy Breezy.
I think so. It did come out
because
here.
I remember
kind of remember that song
not being too great on that, where she says, "I'm easy."
Oh, I am so sorry. It is such a hard habit. They called themselves Japanesey in the lyrics too. Yeah.
Japanesey. Yes, I do remember that. I remember that song now.
I think it was something like "You're Easy Breezy" and "I'm Japanesey." And I remember thinking about it. I was like, well, it's okay because it's them and they're from Japan, but I'm not singing it out loud.
Yeah, I remember that now. No, I love their music, and of course that hasn't changed. That won't change, and no. But I am going to drop a bit of a hot take. As much as I love Simple and Clean, and I love Simple and Clean, I think I got to rate Don't Think Twice just slightly above it.
You're wrong, but I respect your opinion.
I'm right there with you, Ash.
Yes,
I listen to that all the time.
Alone.
I feel like with every game, the music gets better and better. So I like Simple and Clean, but I like Sanctuary more, and I like Don't Think Twice even more than Sanctuary. So
yeah, Don't Think Twice is excellent, and I think it might be a problem of Simple and Clean has been used a lot, and while it's a classic, it's great. Sometimes you like something new.
Yeah, I get that. I'm not as big of a Kingdom Hearts fan as either of you guys, so I haven't heard the song a ton, but I do. I just love the hell out of that song. It's one of my favorite songs,
fantastic.
Period. Especially among video game music, it's damn near the top just because I love her vocals so much, but honestly, or their vocals so much. God, that's getting me too now.
I know. You're so used to it. I profusely apologize every time I did it as well, but I do love almost maybe more than the Kingdom Hearts songs. Their theme for the first Evangelion movie, Beautiful World, I believe it's called. It's like a 5 or 6 minute song. And I remember hearing it the first time, just like, holy crap. It just clicked with me immediately. So
I got to check that out. I all I know is, whenever I sit down to listen to one of their songs, I always have a great time. And even if it's one I'm not familiar with previously, like from the Evangelion movie, I'm sure I'll love it. And I want to go check it out later. So thank you for that reminder. I've loved their music ever since Kingdom Hearts 1. And I've certainly dabbled in some of their music outside of Kingdom Hearts since, but I'm of course still mostly familiar with their Kingdom Hearts work, which is as you said, some of the best. Some of the best video game music out there.
I did want to go back and just touch on something you said, Ash, at the beginning of this story, and it's not that it's a celebrity that is announcing their transition, although that is kind of important. It's more where it's happening, because Japan, for all the things I love about Japan and the culture there. This is not the norm to be able to come out and be accepted in this way, especially as someone in the spotlight. You're talking about a country where if they find out you did cocaine one time, that's it. Like you're everything you ever did is scrubbed from existence. If you're an idol,
is rough.
Yeah, if you're an idol and they find out you have a boyfriend, that's it for you. It's a wrap. So Japan is very tough, especially on their celebrities. So for them to come out as non-binary is a risk, unfortunately, very unfortunately, that it has to be categorized that way. So they're doing something very incredibly brave, and I hope that it drives some real social change in Japan to where folks that aren't of the, that aren't famous or of note feel more comfortable. This is something where I hope that Utada making this move shows younger people in Japan that it is okay to live your truth, to be who you are, and not feel like you have to be constrained by society. And I hope that, we here in America have a long ass way to go, as is evidenced by just the reactions to this episode.
Oh, yes.
And I would say that we're still in some ways doing a little better than other parts of the world in accepting folks that come out as non-binary or trans or whatever. But we're still light years away from where we need to be. And I hope that, but in Japan, it's very rarely even talked about. So I hope that this drives that conversation there, and that some good can come of this beyond just the inherent good of Utada being able to live their life and be who they believe themselves to be, who they feel they are. So all y'all are valid. That's really what matters. And I'm glad that this can give us a chance to talk about that.
And I'm not so naive as to think that that this will actually be the case, at least in my lifetime. But I do hope one day that talking about things like this isn't seen as, whoa, like they're coming out and embracing who they are. That is the base level of respect that everyone is owed. Everybody should feel free to be who they want to be without shame,
really should
without the constraints of societal bullshit, man. Like, this should just be normal. Just for people to be who the hell they want to be, love who the hell they want to
treat this as big news. It's just like, good for them.
This should not be, and hopefully we get there. I don't know if it'll happen in my lifetime, but I do hope that as a society, not only here in America, but globally, that we are trending in the right direction. And someday this won't be an issue, because it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And Canada too, since, that's where Clement's from.
Yes.
I mean, this entire decade has been shown that, like, what awareness and normalization does, because, like, when I think about, like, the 90s and the 2000s, I never heard about anyone who was non-binary or transgender ever. Like, I saw once there was a Felicity Huffman movie where she played a transgender woman, and that was like 2005 or something. I think she got an Oscar for that, but just, you heard nothing. You heard absolutely nothing. But now that people are coming out more often on social media, broadcasting who they are, it's normalizing it, and it's making it more acceptable. And now people are not afraid to become transgender or non-binary or whatever they identify as. And, it might be small news for some people, but it's a significant thing. It's a significant thing. So,
and here's the thing: it's
shows
so
how far
much
we've come. Because I remember in the '90s, even early 2000s, raise your hand if you were in the unfortunate group where it's like, that's gay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could just say raise your hand if you were alive in the 90s.
Right. Yeah. Just all
I got into a big
stupid stuff.
I was at a party with friends the other day, vaccinated friends, of course. Don't worry. And a friend of mine who, I love him, but he tends to use that exact pejorative. He'll say something's gay, and I got into a big spat with him about it, because I'm like, you've got to stop that shit, man. Stop normalizing that language and using that language in that way. It's not okay. Words matter, and it's so easy not to do. And the thing is, it's not as though he's an asshole and is trying to get a rise out of people. He's just used to it, and it's easy for him, so that's what he does. But I'm like, no, you need to think about the things you say. You need to, like, just be better. We just be better, man.
When I went back and rewatched the Bill and Ted movies watched the Bill and Ted movies for the first time, I'm like, these hold up surprisingly well. And then we got into there's the one moment where they had like this like gay panic moment of like, oh come on, you guys are so close. For holding up extremely well for the time they were made.
And like, here's the thing, maybe I'm just looking at it through my own viewpoint, but to me, it's a lot easier to be nice and be happy for other people, whoever they want to identify as, whoever, whatever. Be happy for people. Well, it's so much harder to be hateful and be a bigot and be angry, and that's not only toxic to the people you're doing it to, it's toxic to yourself. It's not healthy for yourself. It's so much healthier to be nice to people. I just don't understand the other side of it. I'll never understand the other side of that.
Yep. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on. Just saying once again that we love you all.
Yes.
But first up,
except the bigots. We don't love bigots.
No, we don't love bigots. I think they know that.
But yes.
All right. Well, we got a couple more donations. First up from Joel Garcia with $2 donation says, Steve, how about them Phoenix Suns?
Man, the last time I cared about the Phoenix Suns was in the 90s when NBA Jam was the thing. But the only Phoenix Sun I'm currently concerned about is the one that is making it 108 degrees outside right now.
Ugh.
Oh, God.
I heard the pavement is starting to melt or at least buckle in the Northwest.
That is a normal thing, believe it or not. So there are days in Arizona where it is so hot that you are advised not to walk on asphalt because it will melt the soles of your shoes.
Oh, God.
There are cases, many cases every year in this area where a child will get out of the house without shoes on and will suffer serious burns to their feet just for walking outside. So Arizona is hell. I don't recommend living here. I made the mistake of having children here. And I would 1 out of 10 would not recommend, would not buy again.
No, I went to school for a semester there, to college for a semester there at ASU. And even at night, like in September, October, it was over 100 degrees. It was miserable. Yeah. Miserable.
Yeah, it is absolutely miserable. Weather,
usually. Actually, just give me year-round fall, spring weather. That's all I want.
Oh, right? Dude, yes. If fall/spring weather existed here, I would take it. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Trace Hall with a $2 donation. Says, "Love you, gamers. Love you back.
Love you too.
Absolutely.
Yes."
Then Trace Hall once again with a $2 donation later on, saying, "Utada's blue. Born a girl, but blue is my color." Huh.
Utada is whatever Utada. Yeah,
I'm pretty
I think
sure it
so.
is there. A lyric.
Utada is whatever Utada says they are, and that's good enough for me. Blue, whatever they say they are, that's what they are. And thank you so much for the donation, Trace.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Mr. Weddy01 with a $20 Canadian donation saying, "Hey guys, just popped in temporarily. Just want to tell you I love your content and follow it regularly. As someone who works alone outside all day, I'm super glad to have you all to keep me company with the cast version. Glad we can entertain you as we were just talking. Stay cool if you're out working outside all day because
drink lots of water.
Jeez. Then there's Mr. Cranium with a $5 donation saying Kremlin Dusk is a top tier Utada Hikaru song. I need to listen to more of that music.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that.
Black Ninja with a $2 donation says Face My Fears by Utada and Skrillex is my favorite. That's a good one as well.
That's another banger. Yep, for sure.
Then we got, sorry, lost track. Bongo Lover with a $5 Canadian donation says, my Uncle Reggie at Sega just told me Bongo is the final Smash character. His victory screen is going to be him chugging yogurt over Sonic's dead body.
Yes. Wait, is Sonic's dead body going to be there no matter who is in the match? Like, no matter who Bongo actually won? That's pretty dark.
I mean, it's sort of like how Piranha Plant bites Mario. So
it's true, actually. Yeah, it's one of its, yeah.
That's funny. Man, that is messed up.
Play Sonic Dash, Clement?
Not recently, but I did once upon a time.
Yeah, I mean, you buy Dan.
But now that Bongo's in it, I should pick it up again because clearly I'm missing out on the best mascot of all gaming.
Obviously,
yeah. I mean, it's almost required reading at this point. You have to, if you go on GVG, you have to research Bongo at least a little. There's only according to Katie, who was on our previous episode, 4-ish more days at this point.
It might have been gone by this point. I don't know.
Actually,
I unlocked him. I clearly did my homework.
Yeah.
I mean, I could unlock him, but I don't plan to.
I mean, maybe we can
I ate his yogurt. That's enough.
Ouch! Throwing salt on toward all the Bongo fans out there, man. Maybe you'll get a second chance. Maybe there will be another crossover with Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. I mean, look, if you can play as a Saturn and a Dreamcast and a Game Gear in that game, why not Bongo? Right? I'm just saying.
Let's license Soul Bananas.
Take a crossover, right? Yeah, that's true.
Sonic and Sega All Stars got it right when you could play as the transforming Dreamcast controller. You were a Dreamcast controller as a boat. You were the Hornet as on the land, and I forget what you were in the plane, but it was like awesome.
You were a jet from Space Harrier or Air Harrier. What is it? You were the jet, though.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Didn't you also very randomly play as Danica Patrick?
Yeah,
Danica Patrick was in that game.
Yeah, and I love that game.
Weird.
Like All Stars Racing Transformed was an amazing game, but that was such a weird random crossover. Wreck-It Ralph as well, which is also cool, but so weird.
Afterburner. Thank you, Jet Set. That's what it is.
Afterburner, nice.
Right. Never played it.
God,
so there you
go. Can we get that game remastered for modern platforms? That one of the best racing games ever, and I know Derek, you love it just as much as I do.
No, I've come out multiple times saying I think All Stars Transformed is better than Mario Kart 8.
Yeah,
I stand by it.
Wow. I will co-sign with you on that. I will.
I play single player more than anything else, and it has a much better single player mode in my opinion. So
I agree.
And I was able to actually go online and do rather well, and felt like my skill was being rewarded, unlike what I feel in Mario Kart. So
very cool.
Yeah. Sorry. There's a hot take for you, but next up is Goran Amber with a $30 donation. Says, I am non-binary and proud. Thank you for making this a news story today, and a special thank you to Ash for talking with me in my DMs earlier when I was having a mental breakdown. So thank you very much to Goran Amber.
Absolutely my pleasure,
I hope you're doing better.
Yeah.
You're a good guy.
And we all love you, and we're all happy to have you here in the GVG community. So just remember, we're all rooting for you, and we all love you.
Absolutely. And then finally, we got Bongo Lover with another $2 Canadian donation, saying, "Proud of you, Steve. Good on you, Steve."
I did what I had to do.
Jaden Buck's? Did you get Jaden Buck's most recent one?
That was inflammatory.
Okay. The message has been deleted. I didn't see that, so I just a message was been deleted on my end. But $5 from Jaden Buck. Thank you for that, Jaden.
Okay. Yes.
All right.
Cool.
Let's move on to story number 3, which I don't know if I have a lot to talk about, but it's 10 years in the making. So, Minecraft Alpha 1.1.1 has been discovered after apparently 10 plus years of searching, because there's been a series of fans who have been trying to catalog all the past versions of Minecraft. And while most have been easy to find, this Alpha 1.1.1 was thought to be completely lost until someone found a random tweet from a decade ago that led it to being found on an old hard drive.
That's cool.
It
is.
Game preservation. Sweet.
This reminds me very much of my childhood friend, Jason, who he is a patron of ours. He goes by XQ Jonah within our Patreon, and I believe I've seen him in the YouTube chat. Not recently, though. I'll have to check in and see how he's doing. But he archived like every old version of AOL when we were kids. Like he had them all, and I was always like, "What's wrong with you, man? You're gonna go back and hop on AOL 1?"
Right.
He even had like the alphas and the betas, and that I got introduced to the concept of this kind of thing by him. And so I think it's really cool when I find stuff out like this. I mean, this is actually pretty wild. I read this whole article this morning, so I'm glad we're talking about it today. So apparently, Minecraft Alpha 1.1.1 was available for a whopping 4 hours 10 years ago. It had a bug. I don't know why anyone would want to keep it, because when you read what it was just like 1.1.1 was Minecraft, but it had a game-breaking bug that would just throw you to a gray screen and you had to reboot, right?
It also introduced fishing and ducking. Fishing and ducking, so...
I totally get that, but I'm saying it's like nigh unplayable. Like it has a really bad issue. And because they recognized it so quickly, that's why it was only available for 4 hours. They're like, oh crap, and they patched out the bug and replaced it. But I guess, I suppose some folks want to fully document the history of Minecraft, which, it's a historically relevant game at this point. Like, it's one of the biggest games ever created. So I kind of sort of understand it. I guess as someone who grew up with consoles, and we didn't get versions, we just got whatever the hell was on the cart.
Right.
But I gotta admit, if like the alpha of Mario Brothers came out, I'd be like, oh god, I gotta have this. Like, I need this in my life. I would totally want every build of Mario or Zelda or something like that. So I understand it to a degree, but it is wild how they found this. Like, I guess the person just tweeted, like, oh, hey, new build of Minecraft, and downloaded it, and someone replied to her a decade later and was like, do you still have that? and they did.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love this. Like, PC or console games, of course. Like, I mean, like you, Steve, I grew up with consoles and primarily play on consoles still. And, we just got whatever version was on the cart. But in all the years since, I've spent so many hours on sites like the Cutting Room Floor looking at snapshots of games throughout their development history with like various, beta and alpha builds that have been found for various games. And I love that. I have come to find it very interesting to see how a game changes from build to build to build on the journey to its final release. Sure. And same thing with Minecraft. I'm not a Minecraft expert, or even I don't really know anything about Minecraft other than Steve and Alex and Enderman and Zombie. That's pretty much where it ends for me. But I still find the history of its development fascinating, like I would any other game. And I love that this was found. It's so cool that a build that was only available for 4 hours has been found and preserved. This is an important part of this game's development history. And as you said, Steve, Minecraft is one of the most historically important, relevant games ever now at this point.
Yeah.
It's interesting how games are changing now with patches and stuff, because like Final Fantasy 15, if you were to play Final Fantasy 15 as it launched,
right,
it is a very different game from the final product of today.
Wait, are we talking 15 or 14?
No, 15.
15.
Really?
Yeah.
So I played
even episode Duskai. Like if you play the episode Duskai demo and you compare that to the day one version of the final game, it's so different. It's wild.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, there was no monster truck in the original patch. Like, you had to wait until you got a new version of that game for that, to be able to just drive over mountains and stuff.
There's a monster truck?
The monster truck was in the game.
There's a monster truck in Final Fantasy 15 now.
I have not gone back to Final Fantasy 15 in a while.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I'm having my mind blown right now, because I played and finished Final Fantasy 15 before it released.
I have not done that.
And so...
Oh, well, there's your problem.
I've not played the day one patch even, because I was like, well... story's over. I cried. I'm good. And I'm not coming back. And I never went back to it. But now I feel like I need to. It sounds like I missed a lot of stuff. I actually really like Final Fantasy 15.
I need to go back and try it again. The thing that kind of...
Me too.
Yeah,
the thing that kind of bothers me is that even if you get the Royal Edition, it's not complete because it doesn't include the episode, whatever his name is.
So you still have to get that. Or Arden, or...
I think the villain, whatever his name is.
Arden, yeah.
Arden, yeah.
FF15 is an example of a game that is very good in certain ways and a complete and utter mess in other ways. Like, man, I love the gameplay, I love the world, a lot of the characters, but that story, man, you could tell, like, the guts they pulled out of it to, like, stitch it back together and make it work. Like, the story was a mess, but other parts of the game were fantastic. The music, I mean, Shimomura did an incredible job on the music. 15 was a very interesting experience, but I spent like 95 hours with it, so clearly I liked it a lot.
And you said you didn't finish it either, Clement?
I finished 15. I finished 15.
See, like the way Clement was talking about 15, I'm like, he just must have meant 14. I was like, he must have meant 14 when it got rebooted.
I don't think there's any monster trucks in 14.
I don't know.
15 also added 15 also added story content. They added like extra cutscenes to certain scenes where like Noctis meets Shiva, and Shiva explains way more than she did in the original game now.
God damn it.
Honestly, if you were to replay it again, Steve, now it would be a fairly
different game.
For you. Yeah,
I feel like I didn't even beat it now. This is ridiculous. I got the high wind and everything.
One thing that won't change though is the tears, and I hear you on the tears, and all I'll say is this: you guys are the best.
I need to see this because I need to see why it gets all emotional, because I started the game and kind of enjoyed what I was playing, got bogged down in all the side quests to start with, because you give me side quests, I'm gonna do them.
I would say it was one of the saddest Final Fantasy endings for me. Like, I don't think a Final Fantasy besides that, maybe when I was a kid and I guess I'm not going to spoil it, but the thing that happens in Final Fantasy VII that we all know I'm talking about, that made me cry. And 10 didn't make me cry. I went straight through the grieving process to anger, and I was like, fuck this game.
10 ruined me, man. 10 absolutely slaughtered me at the ending.
Oh man. Well, the funny thing is, I was enjoying the hell out of 10. I was playing through it, and then I was like, man, I'm going to go back and 100% it. I love this game. And then I beat the game, and I was like, never again. And I turned it off. So mad.
The big thing that happens in the ending burned you, huh?
Oh, it burned me bad. I mean, like, I was ready to take 10 back to GameStop and be like, give me a nickel. I don't care.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Jeez.
Ouch.
I'll tell you what this game's sin was, you son of a bitch.
that sounds like how much I raged when Marvel vs. Capcom 3 cut Mega Man but added Zero and then added X as a costume later on. That was like my one righteous, embarrassing fanboy moment. I definitely did the whole internet outrage
could
thing.
you?
I'm not proud of it. It's the one time I did it. I'll never do it again. And it was years and years and years ago. But I was so pissed.
Yeah.
I was so mad.
Yeah.
Were you frustrated that they used bad box art Mega Man in Street Fighter Cross Tekken?
That I was, but only because of the bad timing. That would have been such a great gag if it had been timed any differently. But that was on the cusp of all those Mega Man cancellations, and Mega Man fans were already pissed, including me. So I think I appreciate it more in hindsight now that we have Mega Man 11 and Mega Man and Smash and all that stuff.
I mean, it was also kind of an omen for the quality of the game. But
yeah.
Right.
Real quick, I just have to point this out because I was just talking about him. XQ Jonah did chime in the chat and say that not only did he have AOL builds all the way back to 1, but he was archiving AOL Canada and AOL Japan as well. It's good to see you, man. I'm glad you're here. I was wondering where you've been. So, but damn, I wonder if you still have that collection of AOL discs somewhere, because I would
probably.
With the passage of time, I'd be interested to see if they even work.
All right. Before I move on, I do want to mention one thing that stuck out to me from that Minecraft story as I was kind of reading through it a bit more. The person they found this version from, apparently based on the timing, it seems like this person downloaded the update only 90 seconds before it was removed and replaced.
Whoa.
You want to talk about
amazing.
Yeah.
That's actually ridiculous. Wow. Before we move on, I think our resident pun master Azran127 has reached a new high, and you guys know how I love my wordplay. Derek, when I told you that I would co-sign with you on Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform being better than Mario Kart 8, Azran in our live audience chat said, if Ash will co-sign, then I will co-secant. To which Eddie B then replied, that sounds like the start of a tangent. To which Azran127 then replied again, intriguing. And that's just, we've hit a new high.
Is that a high or a low?
I'm not sure.
It's math. It's low.
Both equally, I guess, but I'm a big fan. So Azran, well done. And both of you, well done. Azran and Eddie B. Yeah.
We still have quite a few stories to get through, so let's go ahead and pop into the next one. We're talking Final Fantasy, so we might as well talk about a Final Fantasy spin-off. And we got all kinds of Mana-related stories. So, a Legend of Mana anime has been announced. There's an Echoes of Mana mobile game releasing in 2022 worldwide, and they've announced that a brand spanking new Mana console game is currently in development. They don't have a trailer or anything like that, but it is in development.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't watch this Mana stream as it was happening because it was like 2 a.m. for us on Sunday, I think, and it was Japanese only. But from what I understand, I followed some of the reactions to it, and I think the console game they teased is in very early development, such that there's not even a name yet. It's not even known as like Seiken Densetsu 5 or anything. We don't even know what it's going to be. So I guess that's going to be in very early in development for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a lot to say about this.
Mana band's eating good. Holy.
Yeah.
No, this is great. I mean, I love the resurgence the Mana series has seen of late. I mean, yes, that Secret of Mana remake was really bad, but the Trials of Mana remake was really good, and it seems like they've turned things around with the series of late, and I'm certainly happy to hear that there's a new game coming on consoles, even if it is in early development. I don't care so much about the mobile game, but I'm glad that Mana as a series is healthy in 2021. I think that's great news.
I think I'm a little warmer on mobile games now that I know that I'll be able to play them on my computer. at the end of the year. Like, honestly, it took the sting out of Ever Crisis being only on like phones. I'm hoping that I can sit with a controller and play Ever Crisis, but I just love the fact that Square seems to be focusing on their back catalog of, you know, some of their more forgotten, if you will, franchises. I think this is good for folks that are fans of those series. I'm in for it. I'm not a Mana guy myself, but you know, just give everything the 2D HD treatment and I'll be happy. Literally everything.
Yeah.
How much have you played of the Mana series, Clement?
Just the first 3 games. I played Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana, and Trials of Mana, and specifically the original Super Nintendo version. I haven't gotten around to the actual remake yet, but I've heard great things, so I want to get to it eventually. It's another RPG. I have so little time and so less cash than I'd like.
Yeah.
That I have to pick and choose what I buy.
There we go. It reconnected just now.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
We're back.
I was just staring at it. I was letting you guys talk, and I was just like, please reconnect. Please reconnect.
Okay, we're back. So, for those who might have missed it, Clement said that he finds Final Fantasy Adventure to be an underrated game.
It's one of the best Game Boy games ever made, as far as I'm concerned.
And I will co-sign that. We'll go do this whole thing again. And I said this before, and I'll repeat it here. I think Final Fantasy Adventure is better than Adventures of the Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. There's too many Zelda games. Right. Dang it! I think it's better than Link's Awakening.
I will say that I think it's better than Link's Awakening remake, but the original Link's Awakening, I can't go that far. But I do really love FF Adventure. I really do.
I have not played that game.
I need to play Sword of Mana, the remake of that, to see how that. Because I think that came out on the Game Boy Advance.
You really don't.
It's
honestly.
Not good.
No, I like as a huge FF Adventure fan or Seiken Densetsu 1 fan, I played Sword of Mana because I was like, oh great, like a remake of it wasn't that great, unfortunately.
Oh.
In my opinion. Maybe
if you're looking for something to play on your Vita, there is Adventures of Mana, which is a 1-to-1, well, not 1-to-1 because it's like updated graphics and stuff, but in terms of its game design, it's a 1-to-1 remake of the Game Boy game.
Yeah, it's a much more faithful remake than Sword was.
Yeah. Like, the GBA game changed everything about it, like how the battles operate, the levels and dungeons and stuff, but Adventures of Mana on the Vita, and as far as I know, it's only on Vita and mobile. I don't think it's on anything else. And
I know, of course not, because Square, right?
They need to start porting some of these Vita games over to the and PSP games over to the Switch. It needs to start happening.
I know.
Adventures of Mana is just the Game Boy game with a few quality of life improvements. So,
yeah, I would play that over Sword personally.
Yeah. Real quick, just you know me, and I'm not too much of a mobile guy, but I'm looking at these screenshots from Echoes of Mana, the mobile game, and I like the style. Mm-hmm. It's basically just taking the artwork, and I don't know how they move yet, but it's basically just grabbing the artwork from the Mana games for all the characters and tossing them in there, and it looks pretty solid. Based on the UI, I can almost see it being a bit like what's that?
It looks
Nintendo
really nice.
It looks really nice. It does.
The Nintendo action RPG from the guys. Oh gosh, I'm blanking so hard now. What was it?
Dragalia Lost.
Dragalia Lost. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
The gameplay looks similar to that, which played fine. So there you go. I don't know.
The only thing that gets me is like, as good as this looks, I know that it's the whole gacha thing, right? So yes, you're having all these awesome characters from various Mana games come together in one game, but I'm just looking at all the characters I want to play as, and like, how many times would I have to re-roll to get, Reese or Randy?
It could be quite terrible. I remember when we were at Game Explain, I reviewed Dr. Mario World, and I think I did the math because they gave me a special build of the game where none of the gacha stuff cost any money. And so I rolled to get each character that was available just at launch. It was like $500 worth of rolls to get them all.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, I'm not going to play this game at all once it's out.
No.
Well, hopefully Echoes of Mana takes a page from Dragalia Lost's book by having a Mega Man crossover event where you can unlock Mega Man as playable. Because Dragalia Lost did that, and it was awesome. So come on, Echoes of Mana, I believe in you. You can do it too.
Working in that Mega Mention, man. That was
know it.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know about it being gacha at all, but we'll see. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next story, which might have a few things to say. So we had our Sakurai Presents Day. We learned about how Kazuya plays, but I just using this kind of as a focal point. Basically, Sakurai has reconfirmed that Kazuya, the next DLC fighter is the last, I should say.
Right.
Keep wanting to say
Which we
Kazuya
kind of already could infer from what he's been saying.
Kind of already said it, but
it's like definitely it's like confirming the confirmation. And I've said my piece on this. I just want Sakurai to make what he wants to make and take a long ass vacation. He deserves it. But I also never want this to end. Watching this presentation this morning, I'm like, this is the second to last Sakurai presentation we're going to watch, and it's so sad. I'm going to miss him. I just love watching him nerd out about everything and hearing him explain game design and the reasons for things. He's just so fascinating to listen to.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you thought, Clement, because we react live to this. A lot of our thoughts are out there. But what did you think of the presents? Are you into Tekken? I don't even know.
Oh, I love Tekken.
Oh,
I've played practically every Tekken game. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Tekken. Kazuya looks incredibly fun. I don't know if he's broken, but he certainly has a lot of things that I look at and go, wow, he looks very, very strong. So I can't wait to play as him. The music is amazing. They got every great song from Tekken in there. Like, have
the music list.
Oh yeah,
so good.
It really is.
Karma from Tekken 6, which is the electric fountain stage. That theme is a bop, and the fact that they remixed that is awesome. I can't believe they got the yodeling theme.
I know.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
So they got the yodeling.
So
Jin Kazama's theme from Tekken 3 is incredible. That's like one of the best. It's probably the best Tekken music ever. The soundtrack's already looking great. I like the stage. Kazuya looks like he's going to be a lot of fun. So,
and I believe this is the second highest number of tracks any DLC character has gotten. Terry, of course, being the first with 50, I believe it was. I think Kazuya is number 2 with 39. And like with Terry, I'm just glad. Yeah, exactly. And I'm just glad that more people are going to be exposed to Tekken music, because I know a lot about modern Tekken music, and I think more people should listen to it because Bandai Namco's sound team is just amazing. But I'm also excited to be able to learn more about classic Tekken music, because I've been listening to it to get prepared for this, but I haven't listened to anywhere near all of it. And I'm looking forward to experiencing the highlights in Smash.
If you've never played Tekken 1, Mount Fiji, the beach level, is going to be such a bop to you. You're never going to stop listening to it, ever.
I think the first Tekken game I played was 2, if I remember correctly. So I may have missed that one. So I'm definitely going to check that out then. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I've only barely touched Tekken, and I liked what I played. I just never picked it up for whatever reason. But
the thing I always appreciated about it over other fighting games was that every arcade ending was like this fully CG fun cutscene, and they were really wacky too. Like when you play a Soul Calibur game, Soul Calibur 2 has just screenshots with text. With text. You play Mortal Kombat, screenshots with text. But with Tekken, they always went above and beyond with like anime cutscenes and live action sometimes with like Mokujin. There's a live action ending with Mokujin where he's playing Tekken 3 in the forest, because apparently there's an arcade of Tekken 3 in the forest. And he's neglecting his duties, and his wife is mad at him because he's spending all of his time playing Tekken 3.
I saw that. Right, I remember that ending.
God.
I love that. Yeah, that just kind of goes in general with how much I love the Tekken series' sense of humor. Like, obviously, it has the main story that takes itself seriously, but everything surrounding that, they just go balls to the wall with the wacky humor, and I love that about it. Tekken's a very special series, and I'm really glad to see it here in Smash.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm excited for Kazuya. I think he'll be a lot of fun now that I saw him play, but I'm not going to rehash my reactions. But I do find it hilarious. I feel so bad because every time I see Sakurai like restate the obvious to people, I'm like, Twitter has just broken this poor man. Like, he never should have signed up for Twitter.com because he's like, listen, you fucking guys, I'm not making a 12th character. No matter how many times you say it under every tweet I make about my life, it's not happening. Please leave me alone.
100%. Yeah.
Did you feel disappointment in the me characters, Clement?
I wasn't personally invested in the characters that were shown off. I just had a good laugh because I knew so many people were going to be mad. I was like, oh, they got Dante. Oh, he's deconfirmed. That's a shame. But hey, Shantae has a music track, so
I'm excited.
That's going to be fun to play with.
And like, you know, as much as I wanted Shantae in the roster, and I still would love that to happen someday, I still think, and I tweeted this out earlier, I just think it's so cool that Shantae has been successful enough to have this happen. A Mii Fighter costume and a music track. The series so deserves it, and I'm so happy for Matt Bozon and all my buddies over at WayForward. It is a really cool thing. And, you know, I think if you're just pissed off that she didn't make the roster, you're kind of missing the point. Like, yeah, that would have been awesome, but look at the fact that she's here as a specific Mii Fighter costume with a music track, kind of like Sans. It didn't even have to be that, right? And she got that, and I think that's really cool.
I think the other thing that I pointed out on Twitter as well is that think of it this way. You rip the Band-Aid off now because your fandom is taken care of. What your host wore is done. You don't have to worry about it anymore. It happened. Stinks. You can move on. Steve can attest to this thanks to Travis.
Yep. No more heroes.
When that final character is announced, you're going to have a small subset of fans that are really happy no matter what it is. Like, I'm saying that just like this fandom wins. We'll say Pokemon, Famicom Detective Club, Sonic, whatever. They get that victory. Every other fandom will now realize, crap, we got nothing. We didn't get it. My Klonoa fandom has failed. What happened to Master Chief? What happened to this character? Why didn't they get in? Raise your pitchforks. It's just going to be massive chaos because that is it. It is off. And it's
I mean, at the end of the day, not everyone, you know, there are always going to be people who play Smash who feel like they were not seen, who didn't get who they wanted. And that definitely is a shame. I mean, and I can't even speak. I got most of everyone I've wanted. There's only one realistic character who I haven't, and that's fine. But I just feel like you have to try to just take a step back and be like, yeah, I didn't get who I wanted, but this roster is such an incredible achievement objectively, regardless of if you personally got who you want. At least that's how I see it. And but yeah, I mean, Sakurai is definitely in a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Damn, no matter what the fuck.
It's going to be pure chaos when that last character is revealed, and we get to honestly, I think me characters will be seen as a very differently next time around. It's like, oh, they didn't make it in. It's like, oh, we at least got this. It's like,
how can it be pure chaos? I thought we were supposed to kill chaos. That's what I got from E3 talk anyway.
Chaos.
Yeah. Also, again, keeping up in their game, Azran in our patron chat says Sakurai had a lot to take into consideration with Kazuya. Azran, I love you. Wow. I love you, Azran. You're so good at this. Oh man,
that is good.
Yeah.
I love Steve. Steve over here just.
I need a drink.
But we shall see who actually makes it in as the final character. I have a feeling we have to wait a little bit longer till we get that reveal. Probably October, November, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I think so.
But let's go ahead and move on to our next story.
Oh, we have a couple super chats before then.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry for that. Okay, here we go. First up is Mr. Cranium with a $5 donation. Says, love Tekken music, but they're missing sparkling and fresh tuna from Tekken Tag Tournament 2.
Sparking, yeah. Sparking's so good.
Nice.
And then Alan Wilkinson with a £2 donation saying, where the heck do we set expectations for character pick number 11? Character pack 11 or whatever you want to call it. Character 11. I'm saying it's a Nintendo character. That's all I can really go off of.
I subscribe to what I like to call the inverse hype theory. That Nintendo is going to introduce a character that is super hype, but just disappointing enough to where the hype and the disappointment cancel each other out and leave me neutral. So that's where you set your expectations, just in the middle.
I really don't know where to set mine. I'm open to anything at this point. I'm keeping my 1% flame of hope alive for Sora until the end is here. We'll see what happens. Could be a first-party character. I just hope it isn't a Gen 8 Pokemon. That's the one thing I don't want it to be. I think that would be really...
It's going to be a Gen 8 Pokemon,
for me personally, but it might be a Gen 8 Pokemon because I said that. So there you go.
There's just going to be no Challenger Pack 11. It's going to be a trailer with all the characters we all wanted, and then Sakurai being like, no, I'm actually done. I'm going home now.
Yeah, fuck y'all. I'm out. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get back to this next sixth story. And we missed this initially because the ex-Shin Megami Tensei staff were working on a new JRPG, which was revealed to be Monarch. And now the opening movie has been revealed, and I gotta say it's pretty freaking stylish. And there's actually way earlier in the month, apparently a lot of the details came out. I think it was because it was around June 6th or something like that, where I think that was E3 week, wasn't it? So that's probably why we missed it. But all this stuff came out about it. But basically, it is ex-Shin Megami Tensei staff working on things where you have some key features where apparently you got to wield your madness to your advantage. Activating your authority grants you power in exchange for raising your mad gauge. When your mad gauge reaches max, you enter a state of madness, causing you to attack enemies and allies alike for several turns before self-destructing. Controlling the madness effectively can help turn the tide in battle. I think there's definitely a horror bent to this one because apparently there's 7 access points to map out your desires, which of course are the 7 deadly sins, and your affinity for each one will change how you answer the diagnostic test you're given throughout the story, and how your ego develops rests upon your own desires. You're going to get a bunch of different endings and whatnot. So, yeah, this feels like Shin Megami Tensei, except not Shin Megami Tensei, except rather than the whole law and chaos thing, it's more just we're going straight 7 deadly sins, madness, horror aesthetic. We're going all out. Gotta say, though, the opening song, really good. Very catchy.
Nice.
I'm kind of getting Shadow Hearts vibes from this, actually. Shin Megami Tensei as well, for sure. But I just I think just the overall vibe of, what's going on with the madness gauge and just the overall, feel and thematic elements of this thing definitely gives me Shadow Hearts vibes, which is always a good thing, because Shadow Hearts was amazing. So, yeah, but certainly Shin Megami Tensei as well. This is cool, though. It seems like it's kind of a fun spin on a genre that's obviously well worn by this point, but it seems like it's a really interesting take on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be honest, this is the first time I've heard about it today. I didn't even know it existed before this,
same.
But I really like the trailer. I really like the trailer. I was glad that the character designs look pretty interesting. The psychological weird stuff that's happening to them is really intriguing, and it's got my attention now. I want to see what this is all about.
See, so this for me is the perfect example of how much of a character design whore I am. I do not like the design of the main character I'm seeing in these screenshots. And it's down to one thing. I know I'm super fucking vain, but he's wearing a crown. Like, he's...
You can't have the personas or the demons behind you like you do otherwise. You gotta have something. I know,
but all I think of is Biggie when I see someone wearing a crown like that. You gotta have a certain level of swag, and he doesn't look like he has it. And I'm like, man, just ditch the fucking crown, bro. It's not cool. It's not as cool as you think it is. You're not pulling off the look. Give me a vaguely waif-looking high school kid though with an energy sword hand, and I'm all in. So
that's kind of how I feel about, and I admit that it's me and not the character. But I'm being so petty about it. But I cannot get past, I think his name is Rindo, the main character from Neo: The World Ends With You, his pulled down mask, something about his chin area having the mask.
It threw me off at first, but I'm okay with it now. It was
see, we're the same.
Yeah, and I realize it's me. I'm the problem. Rindo's a perfectly cool character design. There's just something about that aspect of his design that just throws me off every time I see it. I still want to check out the game though. It's not making me like I'm not going to play the game because of Rindo's face mask. That would be terrible. But it's just it throws me off.
The patron chat, Jet Set saying I want an RPG with Biggie now, and then Eddie B responding the notorious RPG.
That's what we need. Def Jam the RPG. Def Jam as a JRPG.
Other than the main character, the character designs in this look really good to me. I do like what I see. I haven't watched the trailer. I will watch it to see what it looks like in motion. But I also feel like if this is anywhere near as hard as other Shin Megami Tensei games are, I only have room for one of these in my life. And it'll be 5 for sure. I don't know that I can play 2 of these in the same year.
I'm not overly familiar with Shin Megami Tensei itself, but from the bits I've seen, at least of classic Persona, the gameplay seems a bit more in tune with that because it mentions how it's a turn-based free movement battle system. And there's a little clip of it where it basically is sort of like that classic Persona viewpoint where it's sort of isometric, or at least behind them you have the battleground set up and all the characters are sort of lined up, and you can kind of move around. I guess it feels different than what we've seen before. So we'll see how it all comes down. But then you got these skeleton warriors that they show, and you can change up their bones, and they have different weapons and abilities, and like make them bulky, make them like. They have one where they have 2 giant like deer skulls attached to their hands. Apparently, worked as like guns or punching things. So it's gonna be wild, and we'll see how it turns out. But I wonder, since we got that debut trailer, it's something I was curious about when I saw it was first coming, and it was like, okay, what are these ex-SMT guys going to do? But now we, got some details.
Nice.
Really quick before we move on, I would like to extend a warm welcome to Cornflakes in our live audience patron chat, saying hello stream, first time here. So glad you could join the live audience first time, Cornflakes. I love that name too. That Cornflakes is great.
Yeah.
Nice. So thank you for being here. We're glad to have you in the live audience, and we hope to keep seeing you for future episodes.
All right. Before we move on, we got more super chats. First up from Black Ninja with a $5 donation saying, I got it. The last character is Master Hand and Crazy Hand. All color is Sakurai's hands. That
would be pretty wild.
I would honestly love, and I know it won't happen. I shouldn't put it out into the universe, but I would love it if the last character was Iwata. Or at least some
I've seen people float that. Some people float like Sakurai himself.
I mean, Sakurai, is the true Master Hand, Crazy Hand. He's the author of the series, man. So there's
I just love the idea that this was like his final commission from Iwata, so to speak. Like this was the last game that he was asked to make, and I would love once it's complete, like a tribute to him in some way. It doesn't have to be a character in the game, but I would love something like that. Yeah, me costume or even just a post or something talking about.
That would be nice.
A tribute of some kind, yeah.
Right.
There you go. Then Zaire Miller with a $4.99 donation. Thank you so much. Says, has anyone read Chainsaw Man? I'm on the 6th volume and I'm loving the art, fights, and comedy. Would highly recommend it. Can't wait for the anime.
I know y'all are looking at me.
I know. I have not read it yet. I did see that trailer, and boy, does it seem bloody.
I have not seen the trailer for the anime, but I read the manga in real time, week by week, as it was released. And y'all slept on this one. You shouldn't have waited for an anime announcement. It's damn good. It is also super fucking gross. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna tell you, like, Chainsaw Man. I mean, his chainsaw bursts forth from his face, so that should give you just a feel for the overall vibe. But I mean, there's also a lot of gross out humor in it. Like,
okay,
just trust me when I tell you. I don't want to because it makes my stomach turn thinking about it, but there's a lot of gross shit that happens in that manga. But it does manage to be like disturbingly violent, but also really funny at the same time, which is a weird balance to strike, but it manages it. And I'm really excited for the anime because it's a short run manga. You can get through it in a couple afternoons, really. But I wonder what changes they'll make to fit it on TV because, or in anime, because it really is like one of the goriest manga I've ever read in my life.
So on the scale of like 0 to Devilman Crybaby, where does Chainsaw Man fall?
It's right up there, man.
It's up there. Ooh,
I would give it a full Devilman Crybaby.
Oh, that disturbed me so deeply. I liked it, but man, that was a tough.
I will tell you, Ash, I will be surprised. Someone as empathetic as you, if the ending of Chainsaw Man does not make you vomit, I would be shocked.
I mean, the ending of I think the penultimate episode of Devilman Crybaby just seriously disturbed me. And if you know the part I'm talking about, you probably know what I mean. But if it's anything like that, then it probably will.
It's fucking up there, man.
Oh man!
But Chainsaw Man is legit good if you have a strong constitution, and I'm underlining that. If you have a strong constitution and you're not put off by gore and other gross stuff that I won't mention. No sexual gross stuff, just gross stuff. Then you should absolutely give it a read.
All right.
Well, since we are on the topic of anime really quick, I would like to just point out that my wife and I finally finished watching Gurren Lagann last night, and I loved it.
Gurren Lagann is so good.
That ending was so good.
I'm telling you, you look at the ending, you look at where it started, it's like, how the hell did we get here?
Yeah. It is so emblematic of the just so over the top anime ridiculousness that I love. They're hurling galaxies at each other. It's great. I love that. It was great.
Yeah.
Great.
Mega Conrad with a $5 donation says Sakurai has put his heart and soul into these Smash games for over 20 years. I'll forever be grateful, and if this is his last game, I'm gonna miss him. Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, that's
Me
pretty
too.
much all you need to say, because we'll see if he does any. I mean, hopefully he makes other games, but if this is his last Smash game. It's a hell of a way to go out on.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think we'll ever see what Sakurai achieved with Smash Ultimate replicated ever again. I just don't think it's possible.
No. 112 with a $2 donation says also non-binary. Thank you so much, Mega Man Forever. Well, thank you so much, 112.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Glad to hear
Thank you.
And Wayne Carruthers with a 10. I want to say that's Australian dollars. I'm sorry if not.
I think so.
Thank you so much for that. Says, and before Wiimote is the last Smash character. Different connections swinging around, breaking TVs. You know,
Nice.
not bad.
Yeah.
Use the nunchuck. Get that spacing. There you go.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the strap will be one of its moves. Got to have the strap attached, of course, for safety.
That's the grab.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, nice.
It bounces off of a balance board.
Yes, I love it. I love it. All right, let's move on to story number 7. I don't think there's a whole lot to say about this one, but we'll still say it anyway. CD Projekt has announced that they believe Cyberpunk 2077 has reached a satisfying level of performance 6 months after its release. We've finally reached a satisfying level of performance.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yay.
better late than never, I guess.
Yeah, the
I'm
exact
glad,
statement reads, we have also been working on improving the overall quality, which we are also quite happy about. Would have been nice in November. Of course, we also removed bugs and visual glitches, and we will continue to do that. Over time, we will also be introducing improvements to the general game systems that players have highlighted. And I gotta say, it's about time.
Yeah.
I've been holding off. So, It is definitely an unpopular opinion these days, but I liked like the core of Cyberpunk. I played it on PS5, so it didn't crash a ton for me. It was playable, but there were definitely easily identifiable quality of life improvements that could be made. Like you could see them from space essentially, and because it launched in such a state, they haven't addressed any of it really. And I would love to see them go back and actually polish the mechanics of the game instead of just bug squashing, you know, their own fault that they've spent the last 6 months having to do that. But I would want to come back and play this game again when they finally tell me that they've actually implemented changes based on player feedback. I think there is a good game and a good story to be told in that game. It's just really hard to get past all the bullshit to enjoy that. And it's even harder these days to like tell people you liked Cyberpunk without them being like, "Oh, okay, shill." But
You know, in a weird way.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Oh no, please.
I
please.
was just gonna say I never thought I would compare these two, but in what you're saying, Cyberpunk actually kind of reminds me of Avengers in a way. There is a good game in there somewhere, but you got to get through so much bullshit just to find it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're seen in similar lights, but for different reasons. With Avengers, it's like they made a ton of very poor mechanical decisions, like gameplay related decisions. And where with Cyberpunk, they have a pretty good core gameplay loop they created, but it's bogged down by technical issues, like, you know, bugs and shit like that. But I agree that the end result in the eyes of the average player are the same.
Yeah.
I read that when the game came back to PlayStation Store, did they not recommend that like if you have to play this, play it on a PS4 Pro or a PS5 and not the base PS4?
They do have a note in the PlayStation Store right now saying if you're going to buy this, do not buy it on a base PS4 still. So
to me that's not acceptable.
I agree.
to me that's we're not back yet as far as I'm concerned, but
And I mean, look, I said better late than never before in kind of a flippant way, and I don't mean that in a way to de-emphasize how difficult video game development is. It is incredibly hard, but then I just would have preferred to see them delay it by 6 months.
I would
get it to the acceptable level
it really
of quality
needed.
they felt. Yeah, or longer.
A year and
but
a half.
Yeah, maybe another year and a half.
Yeah, I was going to
more,
say,
and I
we're
get-
talking about
Yeah.
a game where they promised a next-gen version within a couple of months, and it's over
Right.
half a year, and we have
Yeah.
no sight of that. And to be frank, if they can't get the last-gen version working, I don't have a whole lot of hope for this being upgraded.
Exactly.
I would say that the correct course of action, if I were in charge, would have been to just ditch the last gen version. Like at some point, and I'm certain that the higher ups at CDPR heard this from the rank and file developers working on the game. They're like, "Yo, this shit is hard to optimize for. We can't do it." And they're like, "Make it work. There's hundreds of millions of these things out there." And I'm sure it was a decision purely motivated by greed. And I'm sure that the developers would have much rather just targeted the PS5 and the Series X and the PC, where apparently it runs fairly well at this point, and left the, last gen consoles behind. But CDPR saw dollar signs and decided they were going to fucking shove that out the door, ready or not. And I'm glad in a way that the company is taking their knocks for it, because that is the only thing that the folks that made this terrible decision will understand, is that it fucked up their share prices.
Got to humble them a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, and I lay what happened with Cyberpunk completely at the feet of the executives, at the top down level, who, as you said, Steve,
Oh yeah, there's no way the developers didn't know about all this.
Oh yeah, 100%. So this is not on the developers and 100% on the execs.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our final news story, and things expanding. So, starting today, I don't know.
What's expanding?
I love it.
Things are expanding.
Not dongs?
Specifically the Xbox. Specifically the Xbox Cloud Gaming. Damn you guys!
Expand dong.
Yeah. Starting today, the Xbox Cloud Gaming is available to all Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members that have Windows 10 PCs and Apple phones and tablets, though those have to be used via the browser, across 22 countries. So, yeah, Xbox Cloud has been, well, I don't want to say it now, but there you go. It's available for more people.
It's been expanded.
Expanding. Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, expanded.
Yeah.
I'm really hyped about this as an iPhone user. I think it sucks that Microsoft had to go through this to circumvent Apple's App Store bullshit. Like like, why could we not have just had, an app for this? I mean, get with the times, Apple. You're seriously making me want to switch. Like, every time I think about this issue specifically, I'm like, I should just buy an Android. But I'm fucking locked in. I will be the first to admit this plan worked, and now I feel like it's just such a daunting concept to get off of iOS and onto something else. That being said, I've played Amazon Luna, which is not my favorite, in a web browser, because they had that solution from day one for that. And I did notice that it introduced loads of input lag on my controller. I have not tried this yet, but I will be trying it tonight just because I'd like to see if it works better. Because in my experience, Xbox game streaming, or xCloud, works really well. Like, I haven't had many, if any, issues with it. So I'm curious if this iOS web browser solution will hold that experience up, because a lot of nights, like I said, I've been playing a lot of PSO2 NGS, and I'll play that on xCloud quite a bit just because my wife will want to watch TV and I'll want to log in and do daily quests or something like that. So I'll just put the game on my phone, and I'm remoted just to my Xbox, like not, Microsoft's cloud servers, because again, iOS didn't allow that. But tonight I'll be trying it through a web browser and seeing if it works. And if it does, that's pretty big, honestly. It would be nice to be able to get my iPad out if I wanted to just play a game and not have to worry about having an Xbox available to connect to. So I'm excited for it, but I think for most people, this probably won't be a huge thing. Like, I totally accept that, but I think where it will be big, we talked about Windows 11 on the last episode. I think this could be a big deal for that. Like, if you're somebody who doesn't want to drop $500 on an Xbox, $20 what is it, $15 a month for Game Pass? I should have logged into Twitter this weekend and read the sales pitch everyone was giving. But I mean, get Game Pass, and if you have like a $200-$300 laptop, you can use a web browser to play Xbox games. That's a pretty sick deal. I think this will be... Microsoft is really positioning themselves in such a way that hardware may not matter much for them anymore. And that I'm getting really excited about, because if they can keep the quality as people subscribe to this, they could do what Stadia and Amazon have failed to do so far. You know, provide a compelling range of games, playable remotely without hardware, at a low price, you know, without having to buy each game. So I'm not going to... I still don't think it's going to win out. I still think that folks, you know, as long as our generation is the generation buying things and making purchasing decisions, traditional consoles are likely to continue their dominance. But our kids might fuck all this up for us.
Oh, easily.
Right. It's possible. I mean, I fully admit Oh, go ahead, Derek.
I was going to ask Clement if he had Game Pass, because I don't think you had an Xbox One. I think you only had a 360, but have you stayed connected to the Xbox at all, or?
To be honest, I haven't had an Xbox since the 360. I got the PlayStation 4, and I'm going to get the PlayStation 5 when I eventually get it. But I respect Xbox a lot, though. You know, I loved the Xbox 360. I had such a great time with that console.
What a console that was. Yeah.
It had such a good library of games, and I love the backwards compatibility of Xbox. I've always appreciated how there's so many Xbox 360 One games that you could probably play on your Xbox Series X right now. And, you know, being able to play everything through Game Pass now, like, that's pretty awesome. It's way more than Sony's doing.
Yeah.
And
and they're killing it with backwards compatibility compared to Sony.
I don't have an Xbox myself, but I respect it a lot, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's basically where I fall, because I've never owned an Xbox, but I appreciate what they're doing. And, you know, having this cloud version, it's like now people who have, you know, maybe don't own an Xbox, but have a computer. Well, now you can maybe do that and start getting that Game Pass and still enjoying all the games. So
right.
Maybe you don't need a Series X at this point because of that, although it all depends on how well xCloud actually runs. I did see one Twitter response to somebody maybe playing off either an iPad or iPhone, and the input delay on their controller was pretty not great.
Oh no, that's what I was afraid of. I don't
have to tell me about that one.
Yeah, I just don't have faith that an iOS web browser can pass stuff through without noticeable latency, because that's the issue I've had playing other remote services on iOS, is that it seems like whenever Safari's involved, it gets slower.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh
yeah. I'm looking forward to hopping on the Xbox Game Pass bandwagon once I get my Series X for Forza 5 later this year. Like I said, that pushed me to take the jump. I'm going to get a Series X. But like you, Clement, I love the Xbox 360, and I did have an Xbox One. I still do have one, but I barely played it. Mainly not because of a brand loyalty or whatever. It's just straight up the franchises and IPs I care about are pretty much all on PlayStation and Nintendo. So I just mostly don't need an Xbox. But again, Forza pushed me, and Steven, I know you were saying how great Ori is in 120 FPS and 4K, so I want to try that too.
It is glorious.
So it's going to happen. I'm getting one for later this year for Forza, and I'm looking forward to Game Pass. Everyone tells me get Game Pass, and I'm going to get Game Pass finally. So
I mean, in theory, you could get it now and play it on your Mac through your web browser.
Yeah,
I don't
why would I want to
but...
do that? I would never want to pay for that experience ever.
Good.
I can't play Steam. Remember Human Fall Flat? That was running at like 15 FPS on my Mac, so yes. I'm good on that. Yeah,
oh goodness,
I'm good.
All right. Well, we'll see how that all turns out. I'm sure we'll hear a bunch of people say this sucks or not on Twitter, because that's what that site is for. In the meantime, though, just a couple more super chats before we end off the episode. First up is YTP for Life with a $2.99 donation. Says, "Nice Vine Sauce reference." I don't know that reference, but I'm going to assume one of you did it, and good for you.
I'm not sure.
I believe Expand
which one of us
Dong
was it.
is Vine Sauce.
Oh,
Okay.
I never knew
Got
the
it.
origins of that. So
Me neither. For me, Expand
You
Dong
gotta
was
know
just
where your
Expand
dong gets expanded, guys.
I mean, that is, you know what? Words to fucking live by, man. Well said.
yeah,
Was that words to fuck and live by, or words to fucking
Yeah.
live by? I'm just kidding.
No, you know, both? Yes. The answer is yes.
Oh, dear. Anyway,
I'm going to hell.
Thank you very much for this $4.99 donation. Says, Ash, row, fight the power. Now you know what the end of Kirby Robobot is referencing. Which
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think about the similarities there. But yeah,
I mean, people were talking about making Gurren Lagann references before that ending, and then the ending happened.
Yeah.
And you're like,
see, that makes me want to go back and replay Planet Robobot again because what a game that was. Yeah.
Oh, you should.
Yeah.
Best Kirby game.
So much.
Best Kirby game.
Yeah, honestly, for me, it's that and Kirby Superstar. They're both incredible games. So I hear you, man.
All right. Well, with that, I believe we've covered all the major headlines from today's news. But before we sign off, Clement, where can we find you at?
I'm just on YouTube at ClementJ64. My channel is mostly made up of Let's Plays, but every now and then I do video essays like I am with the Final Fantasy series, and I'm currently recording Final Fantasy XIV. And if you want to see my Let's Plays, I'm doing a game called Steambot Chronicles for the PlayStation 2, an underrated gem published by Atlus that not a lot of people played, but it's really, really good.
Nice.
I forgot about that game. That's cool. Yeah, like I just now that you say the name, I'm like, oh, Steambot Chronicles. That was a thing. Very neat. Yeah, I totally forgot about that game. Cool.
I never played it myself, but I've been watching the playthrough, and it's like I can see where you're coming from with this. It's very. I see the Tronbon connections that you were talking about.
Plus, in many ways, it feels like Yakuza before Yakuza, in a way.
Ooh, interesting.
Because the game came out in 2005 in Japan, so did Yakuza 1, for that matter, and eventually the game branches out and you can do, like, billiards, do, like, delivery missions for people, and there's arena fighting and stuff. Like, there's a lot to this game that I'm surprised. Like, there's a lot of money that went into this game. Like, you're part of this band, the Garland Globetrotters. That's their name.
That's amazing.
And they actually recorded a whole bunch of original vocal tracks for this game that, all that effort, all that energy just for this one game that nobody's ever heard of. And I wanted to share it with the rest of the world because people need to know about this game. It was really impressive at the time, and hopefully I spread a little awareness of it.
I'm guessing it did not get on to the PS3, PSN, did it?
No. It's never been ported to any newer consoles. It's been stuck on the PS2 since forever, and if you're trying to get a copy on eBay, I hope you have a lot of money, because it's like 150 to 200, somewhere around there now. So,
Oof. Boy.
Yeah, that's a big oof. Yeah.
Well, if you want to live vicariously, check out Clement's channel. Save you a few $100. So, yeah. So, yeah, definitely check out Clement. I've said it before. I've said it many times. Clement's basically what got me into YouTube. I was just looking for stuff for the channel.
That's very strange. Very strange.
Yeah. I was doing a list and I needed to look up Sonic CD and I found your playthrough and it was like, wow, this guy's fun. I have a lot of free time at work at my job. Let's watch this guy while I'm doing it. Like, he has a huge back catalog. Cool. And then just sort of branch from there. So, yeah. Anyway, with all that said, of course, we do want to give a special thanks to all of our patrons, big and small, but especially those at the producer tier. It really means the world that you support us like this, and the show just would not be possible without all of you. Thank you so much. But also a massive, massive thank you to our executive producers and above, and that includes Jared Edinger, Brandon Bovia, Rob Arman X, Itiono Ben, Dan and Twistle, Dennis J, Z Patty, Hyrule Hermit, Sky Blue Flames, Adam O'Sullivan, It's ATM, Octopuppet, Richard Herrera, Michael Phone, Aiko Carroll, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Waffle King, Kitty Kong Fax, Angel Martinez, Vedran Hotek, 112, John, Joshua Hunter, Evernight Studio, Benny Yao, Emerald, Azran127, Ken Roulette 09, Pagrama, Jake Pelka, Geller, Shiny Turkey, Joseph Rutkin, Titus Malvolio, Charlie Bird, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Orem M, Sakuragi, Becca, Rocks the Cat, Fizzy Wakehoid, Critmonger, The Legend of Groose, Eddie B, Kai Ed, Kit Fisto, West Egg, Deaneth, Coda, Michael McCall, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber, Straightlace, Hoobie, Wolf X Blake, Moon Macarons, Ascaron 809, Kane, Captain Finlandia, 60 Minutes and 60 Seconds, Christopher Masterson, Spicy Pandaughter, The Game Orb, Dano the Artist, Ravelox, Synchrolord, Brainchild, Rosa Bowling,
Hi, Mom.
Kotar Peck, Scuff 196, Skull Kid Tiger, AJB Cool, Blizzica, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Phantom Project, Derek, Jeff Ed, Ray Clausen Jr., Nathan the Voice Actor, Mega Conrad, Hulkamaniac 55, Chibi J, Bongo Lover, and Mumbling Yeti. Thank you all so much. My God, that list gets longer and longer, it feels.
I love it.
It's awesome. But yes, thank you all so much for your support. And remember that you too could become a patron over at patreon.com/gvgaming, where you can get access to our exclusive post show and ad-free content for as little as $5 a month. Thank you all for, so much for watching. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Good Vibes Gaming for more good times like these. So until next time, good night and good vibes. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
everybody.
Noodles.